I see your soul and I love you. But at the same time, if there's any kind of thing that you can like shift inside that would create a better experience for yourself, then that's kind of what I do for a living. So we do that all the time.
Hi, it's Bevan Bird, and today we're going to connect on a soul-to-soul level with Dashama Konah. I had to learn how to pronounce her name properly. I've been looking forward to this for quite a long time. And there was a post where you said you wanted to really connect with your fans. You said like you wanted to talk about certain things, and I saw it that day, and I wrote to you, and you wrote back. It's cool.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I really did that.
I think it was in 2015. And so anyway, Dashama has been an inspiration to me, and it appears that she's created her dream life through entrepreneurship. Would you say that's true, or is it still a work in progress?
My dream life? Am I living my dream life? Is that the question?
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking about that today, actually. I was riding these horses. I was riding a horse here in Costa Rica, touring this property that I'm involved with. It's a retreat center. It's going to be a sustainable community and yoga retreat center and kind of like hotel and everything. It's like 800 acres. And I'm a kind of a part owner in it. I've been involved since the initial vision began a few years ago. And I was touring the property today, and I was thinking about, obviously we're always a work in progress in terms of have more aspirations for life and always growing. And I have a whole list and many, many ideas of things that I'm going to create and that I want to still manifest in my life. So obviously, definitely still a work in progress. But as far as where I am today, I feel so blessed. I definitely feel that I live the life that I at one point dreamed of. So,
well, that kind of meets it right there. Yeah. How long ago was that?
Well, it's an interesting question, because I was thinking about that as well. I had this dream even when I was around 21 years old. So this is like 15 years ago. I had a dream of actually having retreat centers and bringing groups together all over. I actually had the idea of it being in Costa Rica. And it was just a vision that came to me when I was on a road trip with my sister in Utah. We were going to like Arches and like the Grand Canyon and all these beautiful places, Zion. And we were on this road trip. We went to Colorado and everything in her RV. And I had this vision, and it was so vivid. It was like, leading these groups. It was like personal development and, bringing people to just the amazing life. And it was interesting because I kind of let that dream go. But then when I started teaching yoga and everything just started happening in this direction. And so I started leading retreats in 2008, I think. And so that was around 10 years ago. So 5 years after I had the vision, the dream started manifesting. And then 10 years later, it's just getting bigger and bigger, but it's still the same dream. It's just happening bigger and more often and things like that.
Oh, sweet. Cool. I'll finish doing the official introduction for you. Dashama is an innovator in the field of yoga, health, and fitness. She helps people transform their life with yoga in her 30-day yoga challenge. She's currently working on her book, Yoga for Surfers, which also helps raise awareness and funds to clean and care for the ocean and our water. So thank you for that. And she's the founder of Pranashama Yoga Institute and leads yoga teacher trainings and retreats in Bali, Maui, Costa Rica, Europe, and also online. And she's spoken in front of the United Nations. Awesome. Welcome.
Thank you.
So, why do you do the work that you do with retreats?
Well, one of the reasons I like to do retreats, or actually nowadays I'm doing more teacher training retreats. So it's a different kind of theme, but it's still a retreat. But people are coming and they're learning how to become a yoga teacher and becoming certified with my school. But ultimately it's still a retreat. I love to bring people to paradise, and I love to be in paradise. And I feel that it enhances the experience so much more because of the prana of the natural environment. It just changes you in cellular ways and also in your consciousness to be submersed in nature and in beauty and in abundance all around. And it really enhances the experience for my students. And so I love to share this with people because all the feedback I have is that it definitely changes life, you know, and it changes my life all the time too. You know, not to say it's a selfish intention, but by virtue of helping people through this practice and through these retreats and trainings, you know, I'm always growing as well as a leader, as a teacher, as a compassionate being, that I can see, you know, the suffering of others and I can bring them out of it. So I feel really rewarded for doing all of that, and I get to do, you know, what I love and make a living with it. So I feel really blessed.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. I started a group, a mastermind at the end of 2016 called basically the idea is to do what you love and make a great living at it. And so I thought you'd be a great inspiration to them. And so now we're getting to do that here.
Nice.
So hopefully we'll be able to share something that will inspire them. I'm sure you already have by now. And also you're like a shining light in the darkness, just like the way that you appear on your video right here.
I know, it's like dark here in Costa Rica right now in the night, and I just have this one little light. So kind of unusual because usually I have all this light around me and I'm just like darker now.
Oh yeah, I've seen like the Facebook photos. It's usually just in full sunshine. It's really bright on the beach.
Yeah,
so
maybe I'll start doing more in the dark.
I guess I'll ask you, what did you speak about at the United Nations?
You know, it was so cool, the United Nations experience. What happened was I think I manifested that opportunity out of an experience that I had. I had just gone through the biggest heartbreak of my life, almost, well, up there in the top 5, with this guy when I found out he cheated on me and all these really horrible things on New Year's Day. And it was just horrible. But what happened was something shifted inside of me and I was able to let it go, just like really incredibly, and become happy again pretty quickly, which I was surprised about because usually I kind of hold on to these painful things for a while. And almost like the minute that I let it go completely, I got this invitation to be one of the keynote speakers at the United Nations for International Day of Happiness. And it was so unexpected, actually. And it was at the time I was traveling. I was going to teach in Dubai for the largest yoga festival in the Middle East. And then I was going a couple of places. I had to finish some filming in Thailand, and I was going to Bali to connect with some people. And so there was like all this travel involved. And then I got this invitation and they're like, yeah, you have to be back in New York basically in 2 weeks. And I was like, okay, I'll do it, you know. And at first I thought it was a scam because I was like, this is unusual. But the actual, you know, representative of United Nations on his own letterhead and everything was like emailing me, you know. So anyway, I got to speak for International Day of Happiness. It was one of the highlights of my life. And actually it's really cool because I always dreamed of speaking at the United Nations, and I still think I'm going to speak there again and work with them more. I feel really passionate about that. But it was really beautiful. They dedicated the International Day of Happiness to the country of Palau, which is not Palau, Bhutan. Bhutan, because they are actually globally known as the happiest country in the world, and they have a measurement for their domestic product. So we put it as a country. In their country, they're putting the emphasis on the happiness of the people. And anyway, I got to meet all these incredible representatives from around the world, from the different United Nations, from the different representatives of different countries, and India representing in many countries. And the speakers were incredible, and it was just a really, really life-changing and beautiful, honoring, just amazing experience. I'm so grateful for that.
That's awesome. I'm really glad you got to do that. And I hope that you do that again. What I'm curious is what did you share with them, or what did you talk about?
my speech was, I wanted to keep it simple enough that everyone would really be able to get a lot out of it. It's about how, no matter what your circumstances that you come from, that you can create happiness no matter what. And so that's been my lifelong journey and pursuit, is to just be happy no matter what, and to make, lemonade out of lemons. And so I talked about my story a little bit, and then I gave like the 7 keys to happiness. And it was really cool because one of them, that it was like hugging. I just threw that in there because I really think that like sharing actual physical hugging and touch in an intimate way, like heart to heart, is so powerful for just shifting your energy, raising your vibration, and making people feel happier. Especially if you hold, there's like a science about it. You're supposed to hold the hugging for at least 8 seconds. So I made everyone hold the hug for 11 seconds minimum. But it was really cool. I got like everybody in the audience to hug each other. And then one guy came up and hugged me on the stage. And it was a really joyful, like incredible moment that I'll never forget.
Oh, that's awesome. I watched a little bit of your video, like free hugs campaign. And I thought, oh, this is funny. Why are people like walking by and not hugging you?
I know, imagine. Yeah, some people are just, resistant to joy. But yeah, so if people want to watch my my video from the United Nations, there's a link for that I can share. It's free. It's on the United Nations website.
Mm-hmm. And I have that link. I just don't know where in it to go, but we'll have to figure that part out. And because it's very long, it's like 3 hours and 20 minutes. But that's another detail that we can do that when we're not on the interview. So you've been able to, intentionally manifest things in your life. Hope the connection's coming through here. Where do you see yourself in 5 years from now?
5 years from now, that's a good time frame, because I was thinking about that the other day, actually. I'm 36, so in 5 years I'll be 41. And so I think that one of the goals that I have is I want to be married. I would like to be married, and if I'm going to have any children, I would like to have some children by then, or at least if I'm going to have any children, have like 1 child by then, because I think you're not supposed to really try to put too many children after that. So anyway, that's one of my strange but very big aspirations in terms of just like 5 years from now or sooner, as a goal. And one thing that I've been really working on actually is I want to write more books. I'm releasing the new book this year, which is Yoga for Surfing. And it was interesting because it wasn't really an idea of mine to write this book. I actually got hired and requested to write this book. So it's funny because I'm not really a huge surfer. I do surf a little bit, but mostly I do yoga on paddle boards. But anyway, so it actually turned out to be a really great catalyst to get me writing more again, which I love, and I'm super passionate about writing, and I'm actually a really good writer. So I'm excited about writing more books, and I have a whole bunch more books that I want to write that I already have in my mind, like the titles of them and how it's going to go down, and like what it's going to lead towards. And I want to also do more public speaking. I loved speaking at the United Nations, and I would love to be able to speak to college, students in universities or, corporations or whatever. I got the opportunity, I got invited over to do this research project with Harvard University and another university from England called Warwick, which is a business school in England that focuses on research. And so we're moving forward, but it's going to be like a 3 to 5 year approach. I guess they say like research takes a long time, especially from the universities. They're getting all the funding from grant money and things like that. So basically in the next 3 to 5 years, we'll be doing a lot with this university research. And my big dream of that will be that eventually we would get the support to include my yoga teacher trainings from Pranashama Yoga Institute as study abroad program for college students, so that they could come to Hawaii or Bali or one of our locations in Costa Rica or wherever in the world, and they could actually get college credits for coming to the yoga teacher training. And then they would also get a certificate. So they would become a yoga teacher, and it would give them college credits, and it would give them this amazing life-changing experience. So that's like another one of my big visions. So, I mean, I have a lot of dreams and stuff, but those are a few.
Okay, awesome. Thanks for sharing that.
You're welcome.
We're all powerful, creative, spiritual beings, and we can create any world that we want. So what kind of world do you want to create?
I would love to see a world where people come from a place of love and compassion and communicate from their heart more and live less in the ego and selfishness. So I love to see more people moving towards kind of this other-centeredness, which is, I mean, you don't have to be completely selfless. I think the self is important as well. You have to do self-care, but less selfishness and more people who are aligned with like the vibration of God energy, which is just pure essence and spirit, and really feeling the unity consciousness and helping each other in a collective to achieve big things and create, you know, the beautiful world. And there's more and more emphasis moving towards like sustainable communities. For instance, where I'm at right now in Costa Rica, I'm at this property called Rise. It's risecostarica.com. And basically it's a sustainable community. It's going to be homes here. They have all their own organic food growing, and you know, it's just they're going to have a school here, a medical center, even a place to have birthing and stuff. So basically, you know, more and more of this is being created in the world. And I think that what I like to see is the people that want to anyway, that have the opportunity to come together in these communities and really create these kind of like little mini utopias. Because obviously you're never going to really get that in the major cities, but outside of the major cities, in some of these more nature environments, that it's happening more and more. So that's where I see the world going to, and that's what I aspire for the world to experience on a global level. Obviously, we all want some kind of world peace. I don't know if that will ever happen in our lifetime for all humans on Earth, but I definitely see that it's coming. It's moving in that direction more and more. And I have a very optimistic view of the world, actually. You know, you see on the news and stuff, and it looks like it's getting worse or something. But actually, I see that the world is getting better and more conscious, and people are actually waking up. And there's a lot more people doing yoga and meditating and spiritual and connecting with God and doing good things and philanthropy and, you know, digging wells in countries that don't have water. And, you know, so there's a lot of goodness being really expanded right now. And I see it's more and more, it's expanding in that direction. I feel really good about that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. We're quite like-minded. You were mentioned in an article by Udemy, like where they're expanding and adding more courses by industry experts in yoga and meditation. And you're mentioned in there along with Deepak Chopra, so that's pretty cool. And so, yeah, you know that post quite a while ago where I responded to it, right? And you thanked me for sharing my truth. You said how refreshing. This post, I think maybe I can just ask you these kinds of questions, because you said this is what you would want to do, right? You'd want to chat with you said you, meaning your fans. But we're a long way away together, so this is the best we could do. Over tea, I'd share with you who I really am, and love to know who you really are deep inside. What are your dreams and wishes? What do you think is holding you back from breaking through to the next level in your life? And how can I serve you better? That was a really cool post.
Oh, thank you.
You were talking about communicating from the heart. That there wasn't much of that, right? And a lot of people not really caring what is real anymore. But anyway, so thanks for opening up, you know, that day.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been really thinking about that lately, even more, just like, you know, I've been doing social media for so long that I get kind of like, I don't know what to share sometimes because I have so much going on. It's almost like, okay, 1,000 things a day. So like, what do I share? But I try to share things that are positive, you know, and uplifting, because I feel like at least that way I'm putting light into the world. You know, I could share about challenges that I'm facing, or, you know, more, you know, many things, but I always wonder, I guess, what would be the best to share, because there's many things that I could do, and I see other people. I think people are actually very addicted to drama, so I think the people that share a lot of their personal dramas and stuff actually end up getting maybe more followers or something, but like it's like not really my style to do that.
I've read something about this, like where, you know, in relationships, a 3D relationship, people get a bunch of drama. A 5D relationship is much more like free, you know, letting the other person be free and speak their truth and all that. So, you know, it's kind of, oh yeah, and also I was thinking gratitude and success, right? So like whatever you're grateful for is a great thing to share, and like, you know, a success because you've intended to do it and you did it, and so I'm sure you do those. Anything else you want to share?
Absolutely. What's that?
Oh, anything else that you want to share?
I mean, I can share anything, but did you have a question specifically, or?
Okay. Well, who are you deep inside?
That's a deep question. Who am I deep inside? I think if I was going to just describe myself, like the true Dashama, I am deeply connected to God. I'm a very spiritual person, and I was my whole life. And I feel a kind of responsibility to contribute to the world and to make the world a better place. And I'm always looking for new ways to do that. And I hope that through the work that I'm doing, that I am doing that. And I get good response in terms of people and the feedback and testimonials and, you know, different kinds of stuff that does tell me that I'm doing that and helping the world and making the world a better place. I guess I have a certain pressure that I put on myself because I always feel like I'm not really doing enough, or if I think of like, oh, I'm just doing this and maybe I could do so much more, and I put a lot of pressure on myself, and I think that it's not really a healthy thing to put so much pressure on myself. I think it makes me kind of always feel like in this place that it's not enough, like what I'm doing is not enough, or, you know, things like that. So that's something that I work on, is feeling like what I am and what I do is enough, and that I'm doing really good, you know. And
you definitely are. You've done more than enough, definitely. Yeah. So you have to remind yourself that you're more than enough, and you can ask the question too, like, why am I more than enough? And you'll find more answers for it, more reasons.
Yeah. So that's my big, you know, one of my challenges is just feeling like I'm doing enough, or that I am enough, or whatever. And then, you know, just like ultimately I'm a super creator. Like I have so many ideas, and sometimes I get hard on myself because I can't do them all at once or something. Or like I've had some ideas for 10 years that haven't manifested yet because I have millions of other things kind of ahead of that. But there's this part of me that's like puts a lot of pressure on doing all these things. And so I've been really working on just balancing that doing with the being aspect of life. And that's why, like, even today I posted this video about like the horse ride we went on. And, you know, it's just like working on just being and being like okay about that. You know, it's interesting because I find on social media, a lot of times I get feedback from like how much people like what I put out. And sometimes I'm like, when I put out something like that I'm just being, people actually respond less. And it's like people are more responsive to doing types of activities. But for me, I'm really moving towards a little bit more balance there, and to just be content with just the beingness and that feminine energy of receptivity and not feeling like I need to be doing as much. And so it's a work in progress, but that
is great. I say relax and enjoy life. It's really important to do that, because if we just strive all the way through our life, like to try to get somewhere else, and then say we're successful at some point in the future, right? Then we didn't enjoy it. So there's not much point to that.
Exactly. And I do enjoy, you know, I enjoy my life, but I definitely am working on the balance side of it to get Just balance it out a little bit more. I mean, you see I'm on the beach a lot. I mean, I have a very unique life, so one would assume that I'm always just having fun, but a lot of it is actually sort of like work, pleasure work or whatever, which is the reason that I designed my life that way, because I'm like, if I'm going to work, I want it to be enjoyable, so like I, made my life that way, but ultimately it still is kind of work.
Yeah, I think we should probably ask questions about that too. But first I'll say, with the relaxing, the balance, and being in a receptive mode, I think you're going to get to a much higher level of abundance too. So I look forward to seeing that and seeing your being posts, celebrating those.
Yeah, well, that's a good idea. I'll post about that.
How about this? I think we could discuss this one. It's a long time ago now, so it's over 2 years. It said the 26th of January. You were in Miami, Florida, and you said, "Today was awesome. A reporter from the Wall Street Journal called today to interview me about my 30-day yoga challenge, and I got confirmed that my QVC partnership is launching my video membership site, Dashama.com, with Amazon Kindle in March." And he put like the hashtags law of attraction and hard work pays off. So was this a doing or being?
That's a good question. I think that it was a combination, because the doing had to take place somewhere. Like I did create the videos and I did create the website. And so I had to do a lot of doing in terms of action and work to get to the place where I could be positioned properly to attract, that support. So in terms of doing, you definitely have to do some doing, you can't do no doing, but to have that balance. But I had actually always wanted to work with QVC, and it was like a really cool honor to be interviewed by Wall Street Journal. So it was a combination of those two things that I felt like, wow, these were both things that I had always wanted, and that they came to me. In terms of, I wasn't seeking that. It wasn't something like I reached out to the Wall Street Journal. They actually found me, and then they asked me to interview. And then it was cool because it was in this article, and it was only a few other people in the article, like that they featured. So it was like a really big honor. And then with QVC, they launched my program a number of times, like with different product launches. So they will bundle my membership site with like Amazon Kindle on Black Friday, for instance, when they're doing their big, sales events and stuff. And then they're like, and if you buy in the next 10 minutes, you get a 4-month, free membership to Dashama.com, and you can practice yoga with her. And we would create these bundle offers. And so I've been doing that for a couple of years, actually. And it's been interesting. I got a lot of members from that, and then they convert into, longer term members after the trial and stuff. So yeah, it's been a really unique ride, just working with these different types of partnerships and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. From one article that I looked at, you said that you only do the best partnerships. I probably didn't say that right, but it was with the stand-up paddleboard company. And so, like, do you know that there is such a thing as a partnership broker, right? That connects you and brings partnerships to you?
Huh. I don't have one, but I imagine that exists. I don't know.
All right. I happen to be one.
Oh, you are? Oh,
cool. Okay. So then where else? I guess the other thing that you mentioned was the business training apprenticeship. Do you want to tell us about that? Something that you're building right now? Is that right?
Oh yeah. Actually, I'm really passionate and excited about this, because this is my kind of a new focus for my career and for my life. And it's something that's kind of a long time in the coming, because I actually have always been into business. Even when I was a little kid, I remember when I was a little girl, and I have 3 sisters, and we lived in a very rural area. So we were like away from everything, and we just had like the woods, like trees. And basically we used to I had a milkshake stand when I was a little kid. I was probably like 6, I don't know, little tiny 5 years old. And we made a milkshake stand, and we would just use like powdered milk and shake it with water. That was our milkshake. But anyway, and we would sell it to each other, and we would use leaves for our currency, and we just had like this business, you know? And that was like when I was like 5 or something. I always had businesses, and I always had this ideas and stuff. So, and then I had my first kind of businesses when I was like 13. I remember I got hired to paint, because I used to really be into paint these murals and stuff. So I always had like businesses. And then I was in this business club even in high school, and DECA it's called. And then I was also in Toastmasters, where I learned how to do public speaking. So I was always like a very business-minded person. And anyway, so I started like the Entrepreneurs Club at my university when I was 21. And so I have a college degree even in international business and communication. And anyway, so I've been basically in business my whole life, but probably the last 18 years at least minimally, I've been doing my own businesses. And my current business I've had for 13 years. And I grew it to a very, you know, good place in terms of international reach and my branding and the partnerships and the media and the publicity and, you know, the different royalty models that I built around the products that I've created and stuff like that. So over the years, I've been certifying yoga teachers, and one of the greatest challenges I see that most people are facing is that they don't really know how to make a business with their offering. You know, you have a message, you have a gift, and you want to share it. And, you know, it takes a certain understanding and also knowledge and information in order to know like the step-by-step how to create the business side of what you're offering. So I put together a program last year called Business Mastery Apprenticeship. And I had students come to my home in Maui and live with me. And in the course of 3 weeks, we did all these amazing like workshops, and they were there in my house, and we just did them every morning. We would do a morning routine with meditations and journaling and visualization, and then we would do yoga, and then after that we would do business workshops, and then I would work with them on whatever the daily topic was. So we went over like PR and marketing and branding and social media and, you know, like sales and leading retreats and basically A to Z, how to create a business and make it successful, whether you want it to be local or international, but partnerships, sponsorships, every topic that you can imagine, we covered it. And then the really cool thing that I did was I filmed the whole thing. So now I have this 60-hour video training course. And so we're launching this video training course for people, because not everyone can come live with me in Maui for 3 weeks. So ultimately I was like, well, for those of you who can't leave your house for that long, here's the training anyway. You can do it at home, and it's very comprehensive. And so I'll be launching this 60-hour Business Mastery Apprenticeship video training course next month is my goal to launch, but I'm not 100% sure on the date of the launch because we're still putting it together. As far as the launch side, but we're going to launch with a webinar where people can, you know, learn more information about that. But it's also going to come with some like modules of coaching as well, so that you can have me, you know, helping you hands-on throughout the process of doing all these things, like even creating the website. Like the girls that were with me in Maui, they made their own websites. One girl even literally like created an online video training course while she was with me and launched it, started making money while she was with me, created her own website, and scheduled 3 retreats internationally and got featured in magazines just from those 3 weeks in the training. You know, so I know that this program can really be a game changer in a lot of people's lives. And I know there's a lot of different business coaches out there, but first of all, I think that everybody has a unique approach, but I know from what I've seen that's out there, there's no business training course that's anywhere near as comprehensive as this program. And it's kind of like getting like a master's in business, like an MBA, but you can do it from home and it's a fraction of the price. I remember my sister, she went to college she got an MBA from a university. I think it's 2 or 3 years of your life. And I think it was like between $20,000 to $40,000. You know, it's like university prices. Whereas this is like a fraction of that as far as the investment of time and money, but it's actually a lot more effective because it's the kind of thing that you'll actually get results. A lot of universities, they have very outdated course curriculum. You know, they're teaching from school books that are 20 years old, or, you know, things like that. They're not up with like social media, like the current, the trends that are changing all the time, and the current way that we're actually doing business is so much different now than it was, you know, when
That's right. They're teaching theory, and you're teaching from having done it, and you're still doing it, and so it's like totally current. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, current, and also having that hands-on, you know, approach. So that's why I'm creating this. It's going to be the online program, and then the coaching, which will be an option, and then we also will be adding on kind of a third option, which is if people want to come to kind of like a VIP live training retreat, and that would be something that they could include in the package. So those are going to be the three options: the online training plus the coaching, the online training, coaching, and the live retreat. So I'm excited about this. This is like, you know, I've always been teaching yoga all these years, and I love teaching yoga, and I'm never going to stop doing that. So even in my training retreats, I still include yoga, but with the emphasis on business, it gives me something new to share that I'm actually, I would say, even more qualified than to teach yoga. And I've been teaching yoga for 13 years, but I've been doing business for 18 years. So having my own business. And so those two combined, I have, you know, what is it, like almost 40 years or 33 years of experience, you know, in those two things combined.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's gonna be amazing. I'm excited too, and it's such an amazing idea. And what you already did, the business yoga training, or the other way around, the way you do that in the days, sounds awesome.
Thank you.
I'm gonna ask you about something different now, which would be like any stories that you can share about this. Like, have you had any experiences with a soul-to-soul connection, which is like heart to heart? Have you had any of those?
Yeah, all the time.
Oh, all the time. That's great. How does it feel?
Yeah, it's the best thing. I mean, ultimately, that's one of the things that, like in my trainings and stuff, that we do all the time, you know, because I think that's one of the gifts that I have, is because I've always had this very spiritual, you know, like life, you know, since I was a kid. Even my mom was very spiritual. My dad is very spiritual. So it's like, I've always been spiritual. So I see into people's soul much more than even any other thing. Like, that's what I see first. And so, for instance, when people come to my programs and stuff, I'm able to help them so much. That's why I feel like I've gained this reputation for transforming people's lives, because I think most people, they don't go around anyone that can see their soul. And I'm very straightforward. So I can tell people, you know, like, how they can help their life too. It's not just like, I see your soul and I love you, which I do. I see your soul and I love you. But at the same time, if there's any kind of thing that you can like shift inside that would create a better experience for yourself, then that's kind of what I do for a living. So we do that all the time.
Awesome. So then how did it change your life or someone else's life?
I feel like, I mean, the feedback that I get all the time from people is just, you know, it changes their life. It's healing. You know, it's an interesting thing, because when we think of the word healing, you kind of picture like you're bleeding and like you're healing from this kind of wound. But there's this interesting thing about being born into a physical body in this world, because just by virtue of being born in a body, there is this natural experience of being separate from the whole, right? So when we feel separate from the whole, then that is what we need to heal from, really. So that's like the only thing we need to heal from. Like, if we can feel connected to the source at all times, then we have no need for healing, right? So that's what yoga is all about, is like uniting with the oneness. And so as we heal that separation energy, then we can just be more of who we are. And so, yeah, that's the kind of feedback, I guess, is that people feel, that it's healing, and it makes them understand and to see the truth of who they are. And so that from that experience, then they can be more of who they are, and they can live from that place, and then experience more and create more and contribute more and just be more of who they are, as as we all let go of the layers of what we're not. So
yeah, I totally agree. And that's part of my vision for the world, is everyone being free, being their self, giving their gifts to the world, living their dreams. It's really awesome to see you progressing so quickly and inspiring so many people. And so you certify 100 yoga teachers per year, right?
Different amounts every year. Last year I did 7 trainings, but that was a lot. Usually I don't do 7. That was a lot. 7 teacher trainings. Usually I was doing between 3 to 4 per year teacher training. So generally it's somewhere around 50 teachers a year, but I would like to get to 100 a year. My goal is to actually eventually train 1 million yoga teachers. That would be my major goal, but I don't know if it'll happen in this lifetime. But we're moving forward, and we're getting more and more. Ultimately, now with the online training, because I started to develop this new program where people can do the yoga teacher training, but they do half of it online. It's 100 hours online, and then 100 hours in 10 days at the training. And so that gives people the opportunity to be able to come, because I used to only do the 30-day training, and that's a lot of commitment to take off 30 days, 300 hours. It's very transformational. It's life-changing. But at the same time, it's a big commitment. Not everybody can do that. So I created this new option, which is 10 days and 100 hours online. So I feel as we move more towards being able to integrate the online component for people, then we'll be able to reach a much larger audience. And when we opened it up to the, I'm calling it the hybrid yoga teacher training, where we have the online and the live program, then that's when we went to 7 trainings in a year. So we more than doubled enrollment just by being able to offer that option. So I'm really excited about that. And I feel like it's going to strengthen more and more. I've seen incredible results from our graduates, people that come. And I think a lot of people imagine, how could you become a yoga teacher in 10 days? But it's miraculous, but people do it. And not only do they become yoga teachers, they become amazing yoga teachers, and they have huge breakthroughs in their life and their consciousness. And to be able to learn how to teach vinyasa, which is an advanced creative style of yoga, and to teach the flow state is just incredible. So that's what I've been focusing on, and I'm really happy to see that it's progressing very well.
All right, that's beautiful. Is your birthday really July 8th? Mine's July 12th.
Cool. July 8th. That's right.
Sweet. In 2015, you had posted that you were filming yoga videos for a new release of 30-Day Yoga Challenge in the incredibly beautiful Maldives, and you couldn't ask for a better way to celebrate your birthday. That sounds awesome. Well, can you tell us about that day and what it meant to you?
That was one of the best trips. It was so beautiful. I always wanted to go to the Maldives. And actually how that worked out was another one of those, I don't know if you call it law of attraction or however you want to say it, but basically I was teaching my annual Bali yoga teacher training. And I remember we were doing the miracle morning every day. And in the miracle morning, you're supposed to write down we do journaling and envisioning what you want to create. And I had this vision that I wanted to film this 30-day yoga challenge. And I thought this video program, and I thought, where would I want to film it? And I was like, the Maldives. And so I just started working on how to manifest this. And it was a miracle how it all came together. And so,
I'd love to hear how that happened. This will be the little sneak peek, the little insight for people of manifesting your dream life, because we couldn't go into that too much in this interview. And you do have a lot going on and coming up. But yeah, please share with us how that came together.
Okay. Well, it was a miracle. Basically I knew that I needed a couple of things. I needed a location and I needed a video person. those are like my main two things that I needed. So I contacted every video person that I knew, and I proposed the idea, and I proposed the budget that I had available, which was not very much, you know, and a lot of them said they'd love to do it, but they couldn't do it for that little of a price. And so I was like, oh, shoot. And then one of them, who I had worked with in the past, said he could do it. And he actually had a contact at the Banyan Tree resort in Maldives. So he got in touch with them, and he got us the deal sponsored by the Banyan Tree, which is a really expensive hotel. I think it's like $1,000 or more per night for these villas. And it's like so beautiful. It's like 5-star, really, really nice. Its own private island resort. And so we got to stay there for 6 nights, and we filmed. And it was so cool because it was during my birthday. And the birthday, they gave me such a special birthday. Like they took me out in the sunrise to the Sandbank Island, which is just like a little island, just one strip of sand in the middle of like the most beautiful ocean on earth. And, you know, and they took us out on this beautiful boat and sunrise, and we filmed with the drone out there. And it was definitely one of the highlights of my life. And, you know, it's such a special thing. So we filmed the 30 videos. And I won't lie, it was challenging because I had just finished teaching 30 days in a row, and I was already tired, you know, and so I had to like muster every ounce of energy and enthusiasm. So if you watch the video training course, you probably wouldn't be able to tell by the videos, because I did good. I'm very proud of myself. I mustered all the good energy and the, you know, positivity, and but overall it was one of the greatest achievements, you know, just knowing that it's like climbing Mount Everest and then going and climbing, you know,
Mount Kilimanjaro.
Yeah, Mount Kilimanjaro next, you know, it was just like so much in a row. I was exhausted at the end of that, but I was so proud of myself, and the video person that helped me with that, I was very grateful, and we ended up creating this incredible product. And now, you know, those videos have really reached many, many people. I have that video program on my website at 30dyc.com, at dashama.com, and I also have a portion of it is on Udemy. I have a program on there, and then I also have on Daily Yoga app, which has 30 million subscribers, and they launched the 30-day yoga challenge on there to the audience on there. And then also we just did a Chinese voiceover version. So I have like Jackie Chan action going on with my yoga with these 30 million Chinese yogis. And so it's cool. Like, you know, from that one, you know, effort of doing, right? And yeah, there's been a lot of doing in between as well, just like, you know, connecting with partners and getting the agreements, and, you know, so we can release this program through different platforms. But overall, that dream manifested in such a beautiful way, and it's really, I feel, going to continue to impact millions of people's lives for a long time to come, you know, so
Absolutely.
I'm so proud of that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you'll impact people even after you're gone, because you're an author and because of the courses, everything already created that you've created so far. It's amazing. So it's like you kind of like partnered with them, like the sponsorship deal. Does that mean you pretty much didn't have to pay to stay there, but then they've sponsored it, and so they get like, you know, people see that in the course? Or like, do you want to describe how that worked a bit?
Yeah, basically. And this is part of what I teach in the online training that I'm doing for the business. But basically, when it comes to like partnerships and sponsorships, you know, there's different arrangements that you can do. But for that one, you know, because the place is so expensive that just them having us there for we didn't pay anything. And the food and everything was included, which was very expensive place, you know, like $100 for dinner kind of place, you know. So that was the sponsorship. So they didn't include, like, they didn't pay me, for instance, but they included the cost. And then they also paid for we have to take a seaplane. So we had to do seaplanes, and that was really fun. And also boat rides and stuff like that. So it was awesome.
Okay, but what I just mean is, like, how did they benefit from it? Like, how did you promote them?
Because we featured them, and we did a lot of featuring in terms of trying to do camera angles. Like they had their branding on certain things, and we would position that in certain videos. And I would mention, I'm here at the Maldives. Sometimes I would introduce the video by saying, I'm at the banyan tree. Like I wanted to mention it as much as possible in every video so that people, first of all, I think people really want to know anyway, like, where is this beautiful place? Because it's ridiculously beautiful. It doesn't even look real. And so, yeah, just mentioning that, and then going into the video course, you know, each video I would try to mention that we were there. So that was my main approach, because you don't want it to be too commercial, like, because then it becomes too obvious.
That will turn people off, yeah. But you're right, they're curious where you are anyway. Yeah, it makes so much sense. That's brilliant. So people can learn a lot from that story right there, with how you can solve a problem and get what you want and help someone else get what they want too, and everybody wins.
Right.
Oh, and another thing from it too is you said you reached out to every videographer that you know, right? It's like in the story of there's a woman who like had this debt, and her sons were the collateral. And so she went to Jeremiah or someone, and he said, like, what do you have? And she had oil. And he said, go get as many, like, don't just get a few, get as many pots as you can, right? And pour it into them. Well, you know, they may have stopped when they got a certain number of them and they paid off the debt. What would happen if they got many more and stacked them up and filled out in the yard and everything too? Then they would have had even more abundance. So it's like you can't stop. You got to do more of them, not just like reach out to 5 people, but all of the videographers, you know. Just wanted to point that out, that you did that.
Exactly.
All right. Well, thank you very much for doing the interview all this time today. Is there any last words that you want to share with people?
Well, I would love to connect with anybody who's interested, you know, to whatever. I have so many ways that I share online. So social media, I am on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. I'm going to be doing more YouTube videos and Facebook videos soon as well. And I have a membership site at dashama.com. I have my online courses. I have many, many, many things, my yoga teacher trainings, but also this new book, this Yoga for Surfing, which will be coming out at the end of the year. I'm really excited about that. We'll be partnering with the Surfrider Foundation and the Virgin Oceans Unite to do kind of like fundraising. We'll be donating the profits to the ocean conservation. And I'm really excited about that. That'll be at the end of 2018. And also the new Business Mastery Apprenticeship course. So anybody who's looking to take their business to the next level and even launch, you know, a brand or a kind of idea, a business, this is the course for people, because I've seen what's available out there. There's nothing as comprehensive, and I've done it. So I know from experience what it takes. And in this course, it's like the A to Z for that. And so we'll be releasing that in the next month or so. So if people want to find out more, they can go to my website at dashama.com. And I have different free resources on there as well. You can get like ebooks and you can sign up for a free trial on my membership site. And, you know, just get started in yoga, do some meditation, really focus on your consciousness, expanding that, and, you know, letting go of limiting beliefs and moving towards unity consciousness, which is my ultimate dream for the world.
All right. Wow. That's beautiful. Thank you so much. Thanks for sharing everything that you did today.
Thank you.
And have a great trip in Maui too.
Thank you. I'm so happy. Have a beautiful night. Namaste.
You too.